Good afternoon there. My name is Tumitadi. By usual I go by the name Lexus Programmer. I'm a lead software developer at Frienzy Time, and today we'll be looking at module 3, which is admin roles. We're gonna go through the roles of administrators while we build this system time and task manager to cater for administrators. Who are the administrators? What is it that they're supposed to be doing on this system? Now, a little bit about this. In governmental area or governmental industry, in business and organizations, there are department heads, right? And then in school also there is a department head of some sort. So take that department head as administrator in our scenario right now when it comes to time and task manager. This is somebody who not only has been assigned people, but this is somebody who also has some tasks, and this is somebody who also collects some reports in that regard. So in our scenario for Frienzy Time, administrator is responsible for first and foremost aiding administrators, other administrators. We'll be looking at that shortly. Also, they are capable of aiding or having members on board. They are also capable of adding tasks on the system as well as the reports. And then we provided another functionality for administrators to go through the log history, which will be covered in module 7, and then the report system in module 6, the task system in module 5, the members roles in module 4. But this one is about admin roles. So what we're gonna do in shortly, we're gonna go through a different part of administrator's role, and mainly we have 6 parts. So part 1 is gonna be how to add another administrator on the system, and how to update that administrator on the system, how to delete that administrator from the system. Part 4 is gonna be how to manage that administrator. Part 5 is gonna be viewing all administrators, and then part 6, which is a bonus feature of what administrator is capable of, is we're gonna go through this process of account profile. All right, so let's get into it. We're gonna start with part 1, how to add administrator. Let's go. Now, on part 1, adding administrator. Before we go further, we build this system when it comes to this window, because this window is administrator's window. If you look at the top right, you can see that who currently logged in. Now, this one is a demo administrator because it's only this administrator on the system. So we're gonna change this in part 2. You're gonna see that it's gonna be different. So let's go ahead to my menu bar, admin, menu item, add new admin. I'm gonna add 2 administrator, 1 an actual administrator, 2 a temporary administrator. So let's go ahead with the first administrator. I'm gonna add myself. All right, let's go. Title, Mr. Initials, MJ, and first name Mutibi, last name Jonas, admin ID. This is a crucial part, right? So this is how we engineered admin ID and member ID for time and task manager. So FT-TLA0001. All right, I'll come back to that in a sec. And then username is gonna be FT-user MJ Tladi. I'll come to that as well. And now in the email, I'm gonna use my own private email address. Age, I'm not 30. I'll tell you why I'm doing this. And these are not my numbers. And then the gender, obviously I'm male. Now department, I'll get to this one in a sec. Let's just let the researchers for now. And then account type, obviously I'm administrator. I'll explain this. Let me just input some data. And our password is gonna be this one. Confirm password. And now browse picture. Let's go and browse a picture. Okay, I have this picture prepared, all these images. So admin main, There it is. And then before I hit save, I want to explain what's happening. We're collecting data for administrator. Fill in the details below to add an administrator to the system, right? So before I go further, in module 8 validation system, we'll be going through validating everything that is being inserted here as a part of inputted data. So every single thing here works with validation system. So I'm not gonna go through that process. Now let's go through a couple of things. This is right, this and this and this is right. Now admin ID in Frienzy time FT, which is Frienzy time dash, the first 3 characters has to be at the beginning of your surname, right? So my surname is Clady, obviously. So I use TLA and then 00. If I'm gonna employ another person, they're gonna be incremented from 1 to 2 of which I have people, you understand? And now the username, this one is gonna be the one that appears here, ft-user MJ Clady in the next part. Alright, and now this email, I use my private one. It's a temporarily. Why did I do this? It's because I'm using this for the sole purpose of part 2, which is updating this administrator. I want you to see that I'm actually able to update, and the same as age. I'm not 30 years, but we'll do that, and these are not my numbers. So we're doing this now. Obviously male, we have to get the gender. The most important thing is this one. Remember we spoke about department heads and everything. So who am I in charge for? So I'm in charge of researchers in this scenario. We're gonna update this in the second part. So basically every administrator is gonna be in charge of these departments respectively, you understand? So we'll explain this in the second part. And now account type, we cannot do anything because we programmed the system to automatically check admin and the password. Like I said, a validation system behind scenes, but I make sure that my password is proper. And then we have the picture. We need to identify this administrator by the picture. So I'm just gonna go ahead and say save. Before I click save, there are 3 buttons. Cancel, it just disposes this window. Clear, what it does, it just clears every input data on this control. It just resets everything to default state. Alright, and now save is the main thing. It's gonna take this data, it's gonna send it back to database. Right now, when I say save, I should get a success message. Here it is. What a good way to go. You have successfully added the administrator. Before I click OK, I want to explain what we did. When you click OK, it's like clicking clear. We engineered and programmed this system that after doing this reset, so you can add another administrator, of which we want to do that. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and say OK. As you can see, everything has been resetted. Now I need the second administrator for the purpose of part 3, deleting this administrator so that you can see the interaction of the system. So let's go ahead. It's gonna be Mr. Let me just use a small caps. It's gonna be let's say temporary admin, right? So let's say TA, temporary admin. It's gonna be temporary admin. Okay, let me just use caps and TA, and then admin ID. This is just a temporary thing, so I'm just gonna say ft dash tempo a, and then username. I'm gonna highlight this. I'm gonna say okay, this is gonna be tempo admin, because we need this to appear there if we're gonna log in. The email is just gonna be dummy1 temp@admin.com. Age, let's say this admin is 55 years old, and then this is gonna be the number. Okay, and then this administrator, let's say it's a female, and this administrator is in charge of let's say security department, and this is gonna be password. It's a dummy password. And then let's go and browse admin. I have a picture here, admin1. There's a picture, so I'm gonna go ahead and save. It says you have successfully added the administrator. So I have 2 administrators added on the system. So in the next part, we're gonna update this administrator. So for now, I am out. Now on this part, which is part 2, updating a specific administrator, I'm not gonna waste time. What I want you to be aware of that previously on part 1 we had a different administrator who logged in, which is a demo one, but at this time I have the one I've just added, the main administrator ft-user MJ Clady, like I said. So let's go ahead to menu bar, admin, let's go to manage existing administrator. If I click this administrator on this menu item, I'm gonna be redirected to a different dialog window. I'll explain that. So let me go ahead. I'm not gonna explain this now. The purpose of this, if I want to manage in this scenario, I have to select who do I want to manage. Firstly, I want to highlight this is the demo account that I used to log in, and this is the main administrator I'm gonna update now, and this is the second administrator, a temporary admin. So I want to update this a proper administrator because the account is a one that I'm gonna be using. So let me double click this. With this one as well window, this is gonna be covered on part 4, managing administrator. So I'm not gonna do anything. I just need the button that says update admin. Now this is what I need to talk about. This is the actual updating administrator. It says change the details below to update administrator on the system. Remember, this is the data that we have inserted when we actually added administrator on the system. Remember everything. But the question is, why is admin ID grayed out? Yes, we engineered and programmed the time and task manager system to function with admin ID to identify the administrator, or member ID to identify the member, or task ID to identify a task, and report ID to identify the report. So everything will work with IDs, right? So I want to go ahead and change this email address. This is my private one, but my public one is this one, admin@frienzytime.com. And now we want to change the age as well. I'm not 30, but I'm 23 years old. I'm being honest right now. This data is gonna be proper. These are not my cell phone numbers. Mine is 0847353296. I'm male. But department, I moved from being a researcher to a software developers. Now I'm in charge of software developers team, right? And I want to change this password as well. So what we did is we want to pull your password so you can change the password as well. So let's go. Now this is gonna be my proper password. All right, I'm not gonna tell you. As you can see, it's a little bit longer, which is good. And I'm gonna change this a picture. I don't want this. I want the one I'm gonna update. Browse pictures, admin update. As you can see, it replaces the old one because that one was pulled from database. Now we want to send this one back to database. All right, like I said, clear is gonna clear everything. Now cancel is gonna dispose, but update is actually gonna change what was previously inserted to database to what needs to be updated right now or inserted later on. So that's what update does. Remember, this is an update part. So I've changed everything that needed to be changed. So let me go ahead and update. Before I do update, the system, even this dialog window, this part, it's been engineered and programmed to carry out validation system. So I know them because I'm the one who built them. I'm not gonna make mistake because they are gonna be covered in a module 8 validation system. So I'm gonna go ahead and update. It says, what a good way to go. You have successfully updated this administrator on the system. Now it's a different message. So again, the moment I'm gonna click on OK, it's gonna clear everything and reset everything to a default state. And now this concludes this part, which is updating an administrator. The next one, part 3, is gonna be deleting administrator. We're gonna delete that temporary one. All right, see you shortly in a sec. Now on this part, what I basically want to do, I want to cover up a part 3, deleting administrator from the system. So let's go ahead. Notice I'm still logged in as the main administrator because this account I'm gonna use is no longer demo anymore. So let's go ahead to menu bar, admin. Now with the delete as well, it's gonna redirect me to this window, but this is gonna be covered in part 5, viewing all administrators. So, but I need to delete administrator. Like I said, we have to select who do we want to delete. So this is an account that I want to delete permanently from the system. So after this part, it's gonna be evident that this is no longer gonna be there anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead. So from here, remember what it's so incredible about this system. I'll explain this in the next part, which is managing admin. I'm not gonna get into it, but I just need this button that say delete admin. So I'm gonna click it. Now this is where we're gonna stay a little bit on. Now this dialog window is for deleting administrator. The details below are to delete administrator from the system. Notice every single control is grayed out. You can't do anything, including the clear button. Why would you want to clear stuff? Why would you want to enable this button? So we decided, we were careful building this system that no, there's no point in browsing, because we just want you to see that, hey, this data belongs to this person. Do you understand? This is a dummy image that I used for this purpose. Now this is a guy, a temporary account we added in part 1. Now we need to delete it. So what it does is gonna pull up data from database. Whatever data you have inserted, even if you made some changes to update this administrator, is gonna pull it as it is from database, and now you have a choice to delete. All right. So now from here is gonna, once again, I know the clear button is inactive, but we engineered this button behind scenes to clear everything after deleting. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete. It says, what a good way to go. You have successfully deleted this administrator from the system. Again, once I click OK, it's gonna reset everything to initial state, because you can't do anything right now. You have to do the same steps to get to view all management, so we can delete if you want to delete. All right, so with this part we're done, but there is no validation system because we're not inserting anything. We're just deleting permanently from database. Permanently from database. Like I said again, it's using admin ID to detect who do you want to delete. So I'm done with this part, and in the next one we're gonna look at the manage dialog window. What does it do and everything. So see you shortly. Now on this part is part 4, managing administrators on the system. All right, now this one's a little bit trickier to understand how we engineer this system, but let's not waste time, let's go to it. Notice again, we're still logged in as FT user MG admin, the main administrator who's doing all this. So let's go to menu bar admin. Now there's no item that say manage. Now don't confuse manage existing admin. This one is to update. We just use the terminology manage instead of update. So there's no dialog window to pull, but the only way to pull it is via view all admins. Like I said, this will be covered in the next part, which is view all admins. For now, I just need to go through and explain what dialog window, the second one after this, means. This one, right? It says manage the admins, the task, and the reports below. For who? For this specific administrator. You've seen me in part 2, I went straight to this button that says update admin, because I'm managing this administrator. You've seen in the previous part, deleting, I went straight here to delete, because that's the whole purpose. Firstly, what it does, this admin profile info, it just shows you what administrator are you dealing with, what profession are they in charge of as a profession, you understand, they're in charge of software developers, the gender, every single thing about this administrator, right? Now the cancel button just disposes this window, right? So it is being separated with 3 parts. The first part, admin profile info, there I've just explained it, what it does. We've seen these 2 in action. And now there's a second one, admin task, the third one, admin reports. Now these 2, for now, we haven't done finishing the function of these 2 sections, what they're supposed to be doing. But let me explain what they're supposed to be doing in future, right? So in admin task, we have it's like more of analytics of, yes, more of analytics. So the first one say total number of members for this admin. Like, it's like confusing. No, it's not confusing. Remember, they're being assigned, the profession is for software developers. So that means under the software developers, there are 4 members, and members will cover them up in module 4 members. You're going to see that administrator is going to add members to a respective department. So for now, this is just a sample data that we use just to demonstrate how this is going to work in future. So there are 4. The second one, total number of tasks assigned by this admin. So for those 4 members, this administrator, me, myself, and I have assigned 25 tasks in total for these 4 people, irrespectively. Maybe one I gave about 10, one I gave about 5, it doesn't matter, but 25. And then I have 2 links that says view last task assigned by this admin. Yes, that's what we want to do. It's a simpler way of what task did you assign? What was the last task? This is where you can able to pull up data. You can view all the tasks assigned by this administrator, all 25 of them, specifically for this group of people. And here you have a shortcut. You can add a task directly to those people. You can manage existing tasks for those people. You can remove tasks for those people. Now we're done with the admin task. Now let's get to admin reports. In admin reports, it says total number of reports generated for this admin, and now you suddenly see 25. Yes, because it has to work with how many tasks were assigned. Remember, he doesn't just have members, he assigned tasks for those members, but don't just leave them with the task. He has to collect reports. What did they do eventually with those tasks? Did they excel in them, or did they stumble, failed in that scenario? So it has to be equivalent. The number of tasks assigned has to be equivalent to the number of reports generated for this administrator. I hope that makes sense. The second one, total number of reports printed by this admin. So on view, there's actually a menu item that say printed document. It's gonna show who printed what document by who, you understand? So basically that will say 5 of reports were printed for a sole purpose of reporting back to senior management, because this is how it's supposed to be. A senior administrator will know what these administrators are doing. You understand? It's like in business world, these managers, whatever department heads, they have to report back to a CEO. So that's how we engineered this system, right? And then we have 2 links, view last report for this admin. Out of that 25, I need the last one. View all reports for this admin. I need to look at all those reports. Did they do well, or what did they do? Do you understand? And I have shortcut. I can add a report directly from here. I can manage existing reports directly from here. I can remove reports directly from here. You understand? So this window, we engineered so carefully that the only way to get, like I did, to update and delete, it's via this window, but it has to be pulled from the previous window that has that you saw, which is viewing all. So I'm done with this. This is what it's supposed to be doing. All right, cool. So for now, I'm out. Now, what we want to do here on this part 5, which is viewing all administrators. I mean, like, yes, to me, I see you guys are able to add administrators, are able to update those administrators, you're able to delete them, you're able to manage them. But what if I need to know view all data of all those administrators? What if I want them within a single environment or container? No problem. I'm still logged in as the main administrator. All right, let's go to menu bar admin. We're gonna go straight to view all admins. Now notice we had 3 when we began. We added these 2. Now actually we added 2. One I've just deleted it, and this one was originally as the demo, right? So what's happening here? Yes, this is where you view all administrators are being added to the system. All right, so what we did, by the way, this control is data grid. Our control behind scenes, what we did is we binded each and every control in terms of columns to the one that it's within the database. Remember, the database is how database work. You create a database, you create tables within that database. Within that table, you create columns. So I do have these columns to database. So I binded them to this control. So I only pull the title, initials, first name, last name, admin ID, usernames, emails, age, cell phones, gender. I pulled department, I pulled account type, and I pulled picture name. Now this is where the debate might be at. Why did I pull picture name? Yes, you only saw me in part 1 only browsing a picture for an administrator because it's required because of validation system, right? Now we don't only just send a picture, an extra picture to database. We also want the name of the picture to database. So that's what we did. So what we do is, instead of pulling the extra picture because it's in binary format, we want to pull up the picture name that's associated with the picture. All right. So that's what we did. We made the decision to hide the passwords because by default it will just show me all the data. You know, you can't pull data like your password because they're gonna be visible here. Do you understand? So that's what we did, because if we do that, we're gonna jeopardize the integrity of the system. And from here, what we did is, if you continue to add administrator, automatically they're gonna be added, and this list is gonna go on and on and on and on and on. So that's what this dialog window is all about. Its main purpose is not just to view all administrators. One of an interesting thing that we did is, by default, this control, you see when I click on this column initials, you see the column border is a little bit bolder and black. You understand? Because we prevented it from cell editing. That means you could edit this manually in here. It would disrupt how the system was supposed to be and how it was intended to be. You understand? So we prevented that from happening. And then what we did is, because we are software developers, we engineered this control to have one event handler, which is mouse double click. That's why you saw me pulling when I double click it right now, because I want to delete this demo. I'm not going to use it anymore. That's why I've kept it for this purpose. If I double click, it's calling this. Yes, this is a demo one that I used it from the very beginning on the intro and part 1, right? So this is a demo account that I use and everything. Like I said, we haven't done anything here. We haven't concretely put some code together to function here, because we want to get the main thing right. So like I said, the event handler behind the control is mouse double click, so that it calls this window. So from this window, I want to delete this administrator permanently because I'm not going to use him anymore. You understand? So I'm going to delete that. It's done from the system, it's out, and I'm done with that part of part 5, which is being our administrator. Alright, so I'll see you shortly with the last part, just in a sec. Alright. Now from here, we're gonna cover the last part of this module. The module is admin roles. What are the roles for administrators? So this is one entity, one part of what administrators are capable of. I'm covering up the admin environment, right? Because in the module 4, we're gonna cover up members, what the members are, the responsibilities, and what is another role or function of the admin, right? Now this one is a special feature bonus, I call it that way, what administrators are capable of, right? So this one is part 6, account profile. So account profile, what are we doing here, Jimmy? Yes. Now on my menu bar, I'm still logged in as the main admin. There's a reason why I keep on pointing you here. I don't know if you were paying attention on when did I edit this administrator. I don't know if you were paying attention to that. But I want to show you something. View, I told you, as a printed documents menu bar. But there is account profile. What does it do? Let's call it first, and we'll talk about that. Right. What do we have here? What are you looking at? Yes, here you're looking at the current administrator's account profile, the current one. That's the reason why I kept on pointing you to who logged in currently, which is myself, the main administrator, right? Now, it's like it's doing the same functionality as the management one, everything. Yes, we want that, but that's not the main why we directed this here like this. Because this it's been divided into 3 parts. The first part is that one you're already familiar with, admin account profile. Now the second one is admin log history. The third one is admin task and reports. Let me explain what these two does. This one you're already familiar with. For a specific administrator, for this specific administrator, these two were gonna be useless if I wasn't able to point to who am I talking to when I keep on saying this administrator. This one that you see, this one, right? Admin log history. This entity is being divided in 2 parts, or separated in 2 parts. We have date and time that this administrator was added to the system, and we also have a date and time when last the day logged into the system. So let me explain the first part. The day you were added to the system was on today is the 26th of May 2017, by the way. And then it says the time you were added to the system was at 12:23. You understand? That means almost 30 minutes ago, exactly 30 minutes ago, because we've been doing a lot of things. That's when I added this PM. Before I go further, let me finish this. The last day you logged into the system, obviously still today, but this is the most interesting part. The last time you logged into the system was at 4 minutes after 1. You see, it's current, because I think about, let's do the math, 6 plus 3, 9 minutes later on. You understand? I was doing a couple of things behind scenes, but this was the last time I logged into the system. So what we did, we engineered and programmed the system that, listen, what if I need to know who logged in, who last logged into the system? When were they added? We had to get that functionality for the administrators. We had to do that. For the members, it's a different story, but this is the admin window, remember? So we're done with that. This, whoever gets to be added, maybe tomorrow or 2 days ago, it will show based on that administrator and the last time they accessed the system. You understand? Now let's go to this part. This one as well, it's one entity with 2 separate parts. The last time you uploaded task was on. So this one says no data because I haven't uploaded any task using this account. I haven't since I created this administrator. So we've engineered that, listen, if there isn't any, just say no data. The last document type you uploaded was still no data, but I'll come back to this one after covering up module 5 task system. After I upload this part of administrator's duty to upload a task on the system for the members, this is gonna be different. I made a note that to come back so I can show you that. The last time you uploaded the report was it's nothing. The last report uploaded by you was completed by it's nothing, because we haven't done anything when it comes to reports yet. We're still busy with these 2 admin and members, and we've done with that. And now we are currently on the task. We are almost there. And after we're done, we'll be able to build and construct a code for the report. That's why there's nothing here. Alright, but once it's up and running, it will show data. So basically, that's what this account profile is capable of doing. You understand that? Give me data, give me data. This is how I, as a CEO and the founder of Frienzy Time, will be able to check who's been doing what. You understand? If I assign you to be in charge of this department, say for instance software developers, are your people doing the job? Did you assign tasks for them? What document did you assign? Document type and all those things I'm trying to say. You understand? So other than that, we're done with this module. The module was admin roles. What are the roles of admin? So we're breaking one part of the role, which is adding other administrators. Everything was about administrators. All right. So for now, I'm done, and then I'm gonna a little bit later on go to module 4, which is the members. It's more like the same, but it's different. All right. So yes, thank you very much for staying with me. My name is Dumita Adi. I go by the name Ledger's Programmer. I am the lead software developer, and not only that, I'm the CEO and the founder of Frienzy Time as well. And it's been a pleasure building this system. All right, it's been a great pleasure. and walking you through what the system is capable of. So thank you very much for taking time to figure out how the system works while we build it. Thank you very much. Thank you.